We're live. Insiders, yay, we're live. My camera's here. Hello, welcome. Nice to see you all. Today, we are diving into the royal PR wars. Let me tell you, if you thought your family setup was complex, let's just recap on the royal family. Charles, we won't get into that. I'll get banned on YouTube. Then we've got Andrew, who owes us all a refund because he's ultimately stolen money from us, the taxpayer. Then we've got Sarah Ferguson, who has taken money from Jeffrey Epstein and seems to get involved in lots of businesses that then go under. Very suspicious. Then we've got the grifty little York girls that aren't girls, that are women, and they've had money from all the grifty people too. Then we have Harry and Meghan in Montecito that are taking millions and millions and millions of pounds too. I'm not really sure what they're doing. There is so much damage limitation going on at the palace. Now, quick disclaimer, I don't work with the royals. I'm not their PR. Do not take what I say seriously. I only did the bloody job for 20 years. Do your own research, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into it. So there are so many stories to go through, and I just can't wait to pick them apart and tell you how bad the PR is, because they haven't got a Scooby what they're doing. They think we, the people, don't use our brains. And so let's just start with this. This piece is so ridiculous. It's from the Mirror. Exile Prince Harry's security win means nothing as King Charles does not trust him. The telling porcupines. Could Harry's security review signal a return to royal life for the Duke? And what about the Prince William factor? We take a closer look at what this latest move could mean for his future. This is what I want to tell you, insiders. The palace are trying to put out all of these little fires, in my opinion. This is where we need to connect the dots, okay? So I have some dates here. Harry went to Ukraine in April. Why would you go to a war-torn country if you didn't feel safe? You just wouldn't do that. Then in May, his court appeal was rejected. In July, we saw the pat pictures of King Charles's aides and Harry's aides just sitting on a balcony for 10 minutes. Who'd you know? You know, there's a photographer that's caught it and it ends up in the Mail on Sunday. Oh, where Tobin Andre, King Charles's secretary, used to work at the Mail. Funny that, isn't it? They think we're stupid. This has been going on months, the year. And then September, we've got the fake royal tour where Harry wants to wheel out, children where we all feel like we can't criticize them. And then in October, he submits the new request to the Home Office. Now, Shabana Mahmood, who is the secretary of the Home Office, I don't like her. She took the job in September. So then Harry put his request in October. And now we hear it's all underway. Nothing to see here. They're just quietly getting on with it. This is preposterous that this is going on and that they genuinely don't think we are using our brains. And this very piece that I shared to the Stage Insiders, I'll read it to you and we'll go through it. This is PR. This is the PRs trying to think, in my opinion, that they're being, smart and trying to counteract it. Absolute rubbish. So the piece says, Prince Harry has long fought for his security arrangements in the UK to be reviewed, claiming that his homeland is not safe for his family to visit. Now it is being reported that the Home Office are taking a fresh look at his case, but what could that mean for Harry's future within the royal family and his hopes of a royal reunion? I mean, it's unbelievable. Do you know what actually gets me more than anything? Is how much money Harry has. Or doesn't have, who knows? But from what he's been paid, it's a huge amount. And then if this goes through, this will be us. We're the donkeys that will be paying for this. Unbelievable. Continue. Harry lost his automatic right to publicly funded police security in the UK in February 2020, after he and his wife Meghan quit life as working royals and made a permanent move to America. Well, if it's permanent, why are they coming back? Harry's security has been decided on a case-by-case basis, meaning he must give advance notice of his visits, so a threat assessment can be made. Insiders, even though we don't like Harry, genuinely, I think this is like a really a case-by-case basis. That is fair, right? So the very fact his ego wants us to pay for this when we've had the grooming gang inquiry now. Oh, there's a chair, apparently. We're sending more money to Pakistan than they've actually allocated to the grooming gang inquiry, and there's money for all of this. So this is okay. This is the palace thinking, oh no, we've lost control of the narrative. Okay, and they want us to think everything's fine, everything's fine. Well, I'm sorry, no. Fine, he'll come back if you make sure none of us pay our council tax for the next 5 years and don't charge us any tax. And we all want a rebate of everything we've paid into the system, I'd say for the last 20 years, because I'm sure we're all owed a lot of money from Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. I mean, maybe, maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but I don't think I am. And then we've got Meghan Markle and the father. So I personally think they all just need to keep this out of the public domain. They're playing it all out. And I'd say this is all parties doing this. So this story, okay, this is what I want you to know. Oh my goodness, I have to share this to the stage. This is the best comment. Harry's ego far outweighs his IQ. It does completely. Meghan Markle's letter, I can just see it's going to be like, the calligraphy thing that she'll wheel out again. This will be a letter that is written with the full intent of Thomas Markle giving it to the Mail or to whoever. This is written and it will be loaded. I imagine it will be fairly short, but it is not going to be a letter from Meghan Markle to her father. It will have been gone through with a PR and a fine tooth comb time and time again, because we've seen that when Thomas Markle has given texts to the press previously. So get ready for it will come out, I'm sure, because Thomas Markle, he does like to chat. But Meghan Markle is not reaching out, in my opinion, because she feels she wants to. She is doing this as a PR move because you're there trying to pluck your failing Netflix show. Your father is in hospital and has had his leg amputated. And who does Thomas Markle call first? The US editor of the Mail on Sunday, not his children. It's all bonkers to me. And I've got to say, actually, I do, the one time I felt sorry for Thomas Markle in the press was he was totally not protected by the palace when everything was building up to the royal wedding. And you can understand why he would have done those setup pap shots. But this is what I'm saying. If you don't have that protection, the mainstream media will come for you. They're like Rottweilers. And Meghan knew that. And Harry knew that. And Thomas Markle was not protected. And it was just awful to watch someone who didn't have experience of the media then just get caught up in all of this. But let's go into this Meghan piece, because yet again, we're seeing a PR disaster from her PRs, because Meghan can't just let people get on with their jobs. She's meddling all the time. And this is so clear to see. And let me tell you, as a former publicist, this is the worst thing, because clients always think they know best and they don't. And then they micromanage, and it's impossible to look after, the client and manage the situation. So Meghan Markle's team, to me, obviously leaking to the people in the US, but also the Telegraph. Now that is they think it's a strategic move, but it's actually a really silly move. They think it's cool because it's a broadsheet. No one reads the mainstream media poppet, so don't even bother. So they're leaking there to try and get her side across. And this is where, if we needed any more proof about how to discount the mainstream media, it's the fact that these are the same mainstream medias that have run that Meghan falsely accused the royal family of being racist. They run everything that Harry and Meghan have done. And then they're working in cahoots with Harry and Meghan's team to try and push their side over. It's like, well, which one is it? So let's go into this disaster piece, because honestly, no one within the palace at the moment, I don't believe, apart from Catherine and William's team, have a clue what they are doing, because they don't realize that we, the people, we matter. And without us, there's nothing. There's de nada. Forget it. So inside, this is exclusive, and I'll tell you exactly how this will have all happened. Inside Meghan Markle's secret turmoil over gravely ill dad and real reasons she sent shock letter. Meghan has released a blistering statement after spending days desperately trying to get in touch with her estranged father, Thomas Markle, who is reportedly gravely ill. So the piece says, it's no secret that Meghan's relationship with her father has been sour for years, but now experts have revealed just how painful and deeply complicated the broken bond is with the Duchess. The estrangement stems all the way back to 2018, when Meghan was thrust into a global spotlight in the build-up to her wedding. Right, can we just take a minute? She wasn't thrust. She knew exactly what was coming, because I would argue she might have been hanging around Soho House waiting for a prince or someone of that ilk. So she knew she was in the media. Well, she wasn't someone from the middle of nowhere that was picked up and thrust into a world she didn't know. No, she was. I don't believe the paps were set up. Someone's just put in the chat, Lauren, the paps that Thomas Markle Sr. used were from Meghan. I don't believe they were. I'll tell you that later. But where was I? What was I saying? Who was I ranting about? Sorry, I've got such ADHD. Who was I ranting about? Meghan. Oh, the shock letter. Hang on. Let me go back to it. See, this is the thing with ADHD. You like get really into it and then you totally forget what you were talking about. Hang on. Right, let me go to the quote. Hang on, unless someone in the chat's reminded me what I was saying. Yes, so she wasn't obscure. My old assistant was at the company that was doing her PR. She allegedly, let's say allegedly, even though I know it to be true, was retaining a PR in London for 2 years before she met Harry. Now, no one, right? You do not get, and she wasn't always in the country. You don't retain PRs when you're not in the country. I've said this before. When I've worked with people on the Kardashians show, if they are in town for 4 days, they will at the most pay you for a month before to kind of like ramp up interest, get the pap shots going, this and that, create a bit of buzz. The minute they're on the plane out, see ya, it's next territory. That, wherever they are is where they're focused on. So she knew exactly what she was getting into. She had met with Piers Morgan. She was doing the red carpets and hanging out with Lizzie Cundy. She knew. And the importance we need to put on is the fact that she retained a PR for 2 years. And when she met Harry, she dropped them like a hot potato, apart from one who she is still friends with. So this whole narrative that, and this is the thing, okay, this is where that it's her team that have gone and placed this piece, because this is not how newspapers run, showing her as vulnerable. No, thank you. So it continues. After suffering a spate of health issues over recent years, including 2 heart attacks and a stroke that saw him needing speech therapy, Thomas was rushed to hospital this month in the Philippines as his health took a worrying turn. The pensioner had to endure grueling surgery to have his leg amputated, which resulted in his son, Thomas Jr., Meghan's half-brother, to plead with her to reach out and show compassion. So then we come on to the good bit. Despite initial claims that Meghan had failed to contact her father, it has now emerged that she desperately called around local hospitals to try and find out more detail about her estranged father's health. I mean, this is just PR. This is a PR that is evidently working with Meghan in the ear saying, say this. Or maybe Meghan's on the phone to the Daily Mirror pretending to be her PR. At this point, I feel like we can rule nothing out, insiders, because in the world of celebrity, there is nothing they won't do. As a side note, let me give you a story, because this just shows what celebrities will do. I had an American client who wanted press, and it was around Christmas, and the Daily Mail weren't running things on them. And so they were like, well, why aren't the Daily Mail running things on them? And the client said, call the agency, the PAP agency, and ask, what will the Mail run? So I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, hi, I know that you haven't been able to sell pictures of beep, but I just wondered what would sell. Well, what happened was the most ludicrous list of requests for the client to fall over, have an argument. Obviously, my client went ahead and did the lot. And then, lo and behold, they ended up running on the Daily Mail online. But this is the thing. It's not real. They care what people perceive them to be. And this is why we can just cut through all the BS and I can tell you exactly what is going on. And if you are new to my channel, what's taken you so long? But welcome. And if you are new, please like, comment, and subscribe. And just to give you a little bit of background, I spent 20 years as a celebrity publicist looking after front page US and UK names. And I left the mainstream media because it's corrupt, and I now work as a truth teller. I do a lot of presenting, and I refuse to work with the mainstream media. So here we go. Her spokesperson then confirmed she had reached out by delivering a letter to her dad. She didn't deliver a letter, did she? He's in the Philippines and she's in Montecito, so she didn't deliver a letter. So that's a lie. But the mystery deepened when Thomas claimed he was confused by reports that his youngest child had tried to get in touch with him. With speculation ramping up about whether Meghan had managed to get her olive branch message to her father in his hospital. Olive branch, this is the PR saying, can you use these keywords? Her spokesperson has today released a blistering statement in an attempt to clarify the conflicting reports. Ready? It has been exceedingly difficult. All I can think of with that bit is, that, is it the Kipling cake advert? Exceedingly good cakes. It has been exceedingly difficult for the Duchess to contact her father privately, despite her efforts over the past several days. Right. Continue. With the support of reliable and trusted contacts, her correspondence is now safely in his hands. Sorry, I know we shouldn't joke about these things, but I'm just thinking, do you think she sent someone on a plane? But also, do you think she sent some of the jam or something like that? Because I'd be fuming, wouldn't you? You're in hospital, you've had your leg amputated, and then you're greeted with some calligraphy from Meghan and then some of her jam. It is just not what you need. But this is all performative. So Meghan's team are just picking out certain people in the media, and they're basically writing these pieces for the journalists, because none of these journalists are actually doing proper journalism. And now the delicate situation unravels behind the scenes. Family counselling expert Dr. Jane Halsall has told the Daily Mirror just how tough these types of strained relationships can be. Well, with all due respect, Dr. Jane, it's kind of irrelevant within this story because we know exactly how Meghan has behaved. And then, we see an Australia. I'm sorry about this because Harry and Meghan are yet again meddling in things in Australia, and no one needs them doing that. So here we go. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle issue new joint statement. It shouldn't have come to this. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been vocal on the topic. Before I go into this, What subject haven't they been vocal on? So they want us, no one under 21 or whatever, using social media. And then they want certain censorship. Then they don't want AI. It's like they are the absolute deep state fun sponges. They are so untrustworthy. They don't care because we have seen them behave consistently in the way they do. You know, goodness, they're probably like, yes, digital ID, we want this, we want this. I'm not complying to that. And I hope you are all not complying to that either, because anything that is pushing us to be treated like children is ridiculous. It's like with COVID, isn't it? You know, we all lock in your house, can't come out. You know, we, the government, are the parents. No, no, thank you. I'll be doing exactly what I want when I want. So, this article, okay. Oh, take a deep breath, insiders. And again, apologies, Australia. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have released a new message through their Archwell Foundation to discuss Australia's decision to ban under 16s from social media. The couple, who have been vocal advocates for online safety and the dangers that social media pose to children. Oh, pause. Except when Meghan Markle wants to go and promote Balenciaga, which overly sexualizes children of, about the age of 4 and puts them in bondage type clothing with beep abuse papers on the coffee table that was photographed. She doesn't care about anything apart from herself. Oh, that woman. They praised the decision, but declared it shouldn't have come to this. Wind your beaks in, Harry and Meghan. You are so irrelevant in this. Go sell your jam. Get your mate from Soho House to drive it around LA in his boot. Go. Their message read, "We celebrate Australia's leadership for seeing and acting on how these technology companies are negatively impacting young people with little to no resource or accountability, and feeble efforts from the companies to stem the flow of harms." Hang on, let's just pause here, insiders. Do you think they said this to Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg when they saw both of them at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party? I very much doubt it, because they don't care. They care to get their names in the press. They don't care about online safety. And actually, I think most parents and grandparents and carers would all say, we've got this covered. Thank you, Harry, because there's a very easy way to keep children off social media. Don't give them a phone. I know it's a little bit hard. My daughter loves Peppa Pig, and we do have some little arguments. I know my mum's watching this stream and she gets very annoyed at this, but if my daughter wakes up before 7 a.m., sometimes I give her the phone to watch Peppa Pig. Lazy parenting, yes, but you know, sometimes you just need to sleep. But we've got this covered, Harry and Meghan. We don't need micromanaging from a pair of grifters that literally would sell their little toe for anything. So there we have their comment. And then it says, the couple's bold new statement comes after several social media sites face fines of up to 25 million if they fail to take reasonable steps to disable the accounts of underage users. Australian Prime Minister Anthony described the move as the day when Australian families are taking back power from these big tech companies. Go away, Harry and Meghan. And it's like we see in England, Keir Starmer, you know, he likes to push certain things and then hide behind things that aren't anything to do with it. And they are so unbelievably deep state, Harry and Meghan, that it's actually petrifying, the thought of them coming back to the UK. And this is being done, okay? This is being done, I believe, with King Charles pulling the strings in the back. And I said this, and when I said it in the summer, loads of people came out and said, no, that's ridiculous. And I said, no, the mechanics of how this is all rolling out has to be Charles, because you don't get the mainstream media writing positively overnight about Prince Harry. He's suing the Daily Mail. In January, you know, the case is going to trial. The legal bills are combined for everyone that's paying or pursuing this. You know, if they lose, it's £38 million was the last report I saw. So you don't get these media outlets then deciding overnight to write about him. And if they don't write, this is my theory, and this is my theory based in professional expertise. If the media didn't adhere to King Charles saying, can you write positively about Harry, bringing him back because I've got cancer and, I don't know how long I've got left and I'd like my reign to be my reign and not dominated by this. If any of them said no, they'd be out the royal rota. And so you have to think, well, how often do the mainstream media splash or run royal content all the time? So, yeah, they don't like Harry, but are they going to play the game in order to stay within that circle of BS, really, and being spoon fed things by the palace? So, this is why King Charles is behind this. And in my opinion, and if the palace disagree, they are more than welcome to call me, email me, and put the record straight. But this is the issue, okay? And I just interviewed Tom Sykes, and I'll be bringing this interview tomorrow, and it is big. And Tom Sykes told me, he said, look, they don't read anything outside of the royal rota. They don't take it into the palace. And that's why you see such a huge disconnect between how we all feel and what the media are doing, because the media are all playing this game. And the media, you have to think of them like Rottweilers. I prefer Rottweilers, to be honest. But what does a Rottweiler do when it's hungry? It snaps. And that's what, the palace are doing that. They get all like the mainstream media rats sat there like, we want some food, and they just feed them little stories, and that appeases them. But I'm afraid we are in 2025, okay? I don't want fake news. I don't want puff pieces. I don't want damage limitation. I don't want any of this that I'm talking to you about. I want us, the people, to actually finally be respected. We're not paying our council tax and our tax to fund Harry having security. No, thank you. A case by case basis would be much more economically beneficial for us, the people. Drop the a comment in the chat and let me know what you think. But then this is another story that's interesting, okay? And this is, I think, we're not going to get the full truth with this, and I'll tell you why. So this is an inquiry into the Crown Estate launched after controversy over Andrew's Royal Lodge residence. Answers from the estate and the Treasury about the Royal Lodge in Windsor, where Mr. Mountbatten Windsor pays a peppercorn rent, have prompted new scrutiny from Parliament's Public Accounts Committee. This is what we need to know. And this is what, whoa, there's 1,000 people watching. Oh, and I've just got a high definition camera. I want to go like this. Hi, insiders. We're not going to get the truth. We're not getting the truth you don't get the truth from government, police, the media, none of them, because they all work in cahoots with each other. Everything we see is performative. Oh, what were we told? Oh, Andrew's going to be out of Royal Lodge. And then it wasn't till the end, of the year. Oh, and now it's going into next year. And why is it going into next year? Oh, he's got so much stuff. Right, I'm not being funny. There's 1,000 of us. There's 1,012 of us on this live stream. We could write a letter to the palace, okay? We know Andrew is struggling to pack his stuff because it's such an awful thing, isn't it? When one needs to downsize all of their things. Yeah, I mean, not really a problem most people have. So we could all offer, okay? They have free boxes in my supermarket. Quite like that after the shopping. Much easier than having to pay for more bags that then, get shoved down the side of the washing machine. And I never remember to take them back. We could all turn up with a box. That's 1,000 boxes, right? We could get Andrew out of Royal Lodge very quickly. But they think we are so silly that, blink and you miss it. And then they'll drop another drama in, because this is how it works, okay? And hit me up with questions about PR, because I want you to know everything, because I don't know if they're ever going to close this YouTube down. So I just come on and speak the truth. But they're very much sat there, okay, with this is the narrative. This is how we want to be seen. They all use charity to try and, damage, limitate, and try and rehabilitate their image. But we've got brains now. We can see through that. And this is why I think social media and YouTube is amazing, because we can connect the dots, and we're no longer, you know, we don't have to wait for the mainstream media, because we know it's absolute BS. But I'll tell you something now. Queen Camilla is incredibly friendly with very, very, very high level media. And make no mistake that we always see ex mainstreamers go into the palace to manage their media. We see the same in government as well. And that's why when people say, well, why do you talk about politics and media and rules? It's like, because it's all connected. It's one big club. And that's the truth of it. And so, there are people sat round a table creating narratives. Oh, well, as it gets more into this year, we want them to be seen like this. And that's why I knew King Charles is behind this with Harry. And I said, he's working backwards from his, I don't really want to say the word funeral, but I'll say it, funeral. And he doesn't want, the first time Harry's back is to, be at his dad's funeral. And that could be in 5-10 years' time. I'm not saying it's imminent, but everything is so orchestrated. And what we're being fed in the public is just absolute BS. Now, this is an interesting comment. Oh no, not that one. Sorry. Polo make gatekeepers Daily Mail. Yes. When you have a good contact, you keep feeding that contact. Okay. And this is why sometimes you will see some negative coverage in the Mail about some of the royals and some positive coverage. At the end of the day, it's a game. And so when we say playing the game about the media, sometimes you've got to take the rough with the smooth. And so I would have people call me and say, I've got nothing to run tomorrow. Can I run this? And I'm like, yeah, it's not true. They're like, yeah, it's fine. I just going into conference, need something. That happens a lot, okay, with the royal stories. And this is why I don't come on, doing tons and tons of stories, because the majority of it is absolute fluff. But they're the gatekeepers. These journalists are propaganda puppets. Absolutely ridiculous. Yes, I agree with you. So you have said Emma Martin's 9871. I am so sick of all the lies and corruption everywhere. I agree with you. And the corruption runs deep within the police, deep within the government, deep within the media. And so that's why I'm so glad that I have insiders that are aware of this, because it's disgraceful. We pay all these clowns wages, and the way we are treated as citizens, I just think is utterly grotesque. Also, talking about corruption, I was given some information that I will talk about in a roundabout way until I can confirm by another source. But I was told that a lot of people within the BBC who are very high profile have gotten away with certain things because they're Freemasons. And I'm also doing research into Freemasons and the royal family. And this is a secret society that is entrenched in our police, in our media, in every single corner. And it's the same secret society that will look after their own at the detriment of someone like you or me, because we're not in that secret society. And it brought me on to the thought of, I really hope that, and we don't know whether King William or, oh God, I can't say that. It's because I think of him as the king. Oh God, that's a faux pas. But I really hope that Prince William will distance the royal family from Freemasonry. We don't know if King Charles, well, on the record, we don't know if King Charles is a Freemason. However, I have been told by Paul Page that it's from Charles all the way down. So I think a lot's coming to light more and more. And I've seen the Freemasons doing a lot of damage limitation in the press recently. But a lot of people have told me, don't speak on the Freemasons. And I'm like, oh, the more you tell me not to talk on something, the more I'm going to talk about it. But this is the thing, William, he needs to protect this monarchy, he needs to get rid of so many people. He needs to get rid of so many things that separate the monarchy from us. And I think that has to happen rapidly. Polo mate, Lauren is on fire, feeling a bit sassy. I did have a coffee before this live stream. Let's have a look. Drop any questions in. Now, I wanted to share this with you, okay? So, hang on, I'm looking. Right. Okay, so you've said, Melody, sorry, Lauren, but his son and daughter knew he was going to hospital. He has a close relationship with the Daily Mail lady, 6 to 7 years. She treats him better than his daughter. Yeah, I just think at this point, I just think they should all just, it all ends up in public, So King Charles today, I think he might have come out in an allergic reaction because he went into a church. King Charles attends an event as head of the Church of England. Now, Tom Sykes and I, we slightly disagreed on this. Tom Sykes said it's great, and I'll show you the interview tomorrow. He said, it's brilliant he turned up. But he is the head of the Church of England. Now, I come at this from a much more vocal point of view. King Charles has done nothing as the supreme governor of the Church of England. And so this Saturday, I will be in London. Insiders, if any of you are there, if one person comes up and says I'm an insider, I'm going to be like, oh my God, can I have a picture with you to show my mum you're real? Like, oh, I've got an insider. But if any insiders are there, come and grab me. But I am going to the Christmas Tommy Robinson event that is Put the Christ Back in Christmas. And I'm just starring some messages while I'm talking. And it's at the point now where I'm like, am I going to get arrested for singing Little Donkey? I'm like, that feels a bit like a challenge. My husband, I don't think he's watching this, but this is what's happening in this country. And I know it's not just, in England. I know all around the world, people are feeling this. And I don't believe King Charles has done enough to preserve and promote and amplify Christian beliefs. And I'm yet to meet someone that really does think he's done enough, because this is the piece. So King Charles attends event as head of the Church of England. It's like, better late than never, Charles. But then we have this. So this was the Church of England actively doing a campaign to hit back at Christians that support Tommy Robinson. And this is, King Charles's church. Outsiders welcome. Church of England rejects Tommy Robinson's Christmas event. So they're coming to this event. Let me read you this. So the King's Church, because that's what it is, right? The King's Church are turning up at this event. Where is it? Hang on. Let's have a look. Bear with me. Church. Sorry, I thought I had it. So if I get arrested for singing Little Donkey, I will try and stream live if this happens, but only in England would this happen, where you could genuinely be arrested. So this is what the Church of England have said. And you have to ask yourself, Charles must know about these kind of decisions being made by the Church of England. He's the supreme governor. And when you say something to people and they say, well, no, it's symbolic. Right. Well, I want someone that's the head of the Church of England that's going to do a bit more than something that's just symbolic. So if his role is just symbolic, then this needs to change. And he really needs to step it up a gear and change some things about that, because that's archaic. So it says, organisers for the Church of England are set to launch an inclusive counter campaign next week in the wake of a Christmas event planned by Tommy Robinson. The carol heavy gathering will take place next Saturday, but the Church of England isn't convinced by the far right's actual intentions. Now, I don't think it's their job to weigh up whether someone is deemed to be a Christian. If someone says they're a Christian, then that's what you go with. It's not their 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 job to screen people. Do you fit with our ideology? Like, no, thanks. I think we'll answer to the man upstairs. Right, let's have a look at this. Mystified. Oh, you're an early insider. The king ignoring the people like Keir Starmer does will result in him being as despised as Starmer. I agree with you 100%. And this is what worries me is King Charles's globalist agenda. I don't want ID. I don't want anything that Keir Starmer's doing. And I don't want to live in a country where I'm working, having to sign over everything to the government. And, I'm treated like a child, because the more I'm treated like a child, the more I behave in quite a sassy way. Hence why, will I be coming on Monday to say I was arrested singing Little Donkey? It's entirely possible, insiders. It is entirely possible. Let's have a look at some more questions. So yeah, a lot of people are saying Freemasonry has been in the rules for centuries. Yes, it has. And before I come to this question on screen, the Freemasons always say, we do loads of charity work. Yeah, a lot of people have said that. People like Jeffrey Epstein, people like Sarah and Andrew, people I don't trust. And so whenever you pose the question that you're not comfortable with something and the secrecy, and someone comes back and says, we do charity work, I'm like, ooh, defensive. Not sure about that. So Teresa, you've said William needs to do a deep clean and protect his wife. Yes, he does. But at the moment, his hands are tied to some degree. And so this is why I believe the palace PRs are completely useless, because they have all of the mainstream media, more or less, referring to Catherine, Princess of Wales, as Kate Middleton. She's not been Kate Middleton for 14 years and 7 months now, I believe it is. And the mainstream media needs the royals to make money. The royals need the mainstream media to become relevant. But the problem is, this is where it becomes a toxic and distorted relationship, because it's like car sales. It's like, yeah, you can have that for that, but then it's constantly trading things. Ella, only in England could one be worried about being arrested for singing Little Donkey. It's beyond ridiculous at this point. Yes, it is. I agree with you. Let's have a look. Ellie Boo. Oh, that's such a cute dog. After what those two grifters have tried to do to the royal family, no. I, for one, don't want them back. The king needs to listen to his people. William telling them to stay away. Yes, I agree. We just can't have them back here. I mean, and I know everyone in the Commonwealth that's on this channel feels the same, and the insiders in America. We don't want them here. I know America don't want them, but if you could just have them for a bit longer, we would be most grateful. There's a lot going on in England. It's a bit of a disaster. And I had actually, and I want to tell you another interesting royal story as well. So I was speaking to Sammy Woodhouse, the grooming gang survivor, about the King's Honours list. And there's only ever been, since 2016, one father from the grooming gangs honoured, and a social worker who then went in to work with Labour. It's one big club. This is why I get irate about the King's Honours list as well. It's all their mates, all the posh people and anyone of influence. And then they'll just put a strategic old lady like my grandma, who raised a lot of money for baking cakes for Alzheimer's. My grandma actually hasn't got an honour, but my father has an honour. And it's, not to take anything away from people that have an honour, but it's very rare that your dinner lady that works at the local school is actually given one. It is all a web of power, money, and influence, in my opinion. And that's why I don't like it. Okay, Abby, is Bishop Kai going to be at the concert? I hope so. Yes, he is. And he's also recorded a Christmas message for insiders. And I have loads of content coming. Nikki Johnston is coming back to the channel as well. I've got an interview with Susan Hall coming. I've got loads of content I'm planning. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a really cool schedule of content for January, because I thought, oh, we all look at the bank account and we're like, oh, this month is awful. And then we'll put our running things on and think we're going to get, really fit. And if you're like me, you sit in your workout gear eating a sausage roll and don't actually work out. And it's just a bit of a ooh month. So I thought, no, we're bringing high energy. We are bringing a month of content. I'm also going to try, one of my best friends is an incredible therapist, and she is very, very well trained in ADHD. So for my ADHDers, I'm going to see if I can bring her onto the channel. And that's why I just want it to be a real eclectic mix, because we need this. We don't want to pay our BBC TV license, and we won't pay our BBC TV license. Can't get anything from the mainstream media. So I thought, well, why don't I just create a really cool stream schedule for you guys? So I'm going live every Wednesday now and every Sunday. And you just tell me what you want. I can do a Royal Roundup, just a little bit of everything. Very eclectic. So Miss Chloe Celeste, I love Susan Hall. She gives Khan a hard time. She does, but also she's fair. He is a complete beep. So, let's have a look. There's so many things in the chat. Mystified, the BBC gets billions of taxpayer funds and Lauren does better news on her own. Love you. Now, this is important. I am contacted by lots of whistleblowers. Some want to talk to me to tell me their story, but don't want to go on camera, but want me to know. And they want me to know because I speak to you just unfiltered. And I've been contacted by a BBC whistleblower, and what they have told me is shocking. Now, it's important to explain as well. Within my work previously, I worked with hundreds and hundreds of people. I know someone a mile off, someone that wants to be famous, someone that's grifty. I'm a very good judge of that. And there was nothing about this person that was fake. And what they told me was that in their experience, it is not only an awful place to work, but they said, and I'm not even going to identify what sex they are, what age they are, but the corruption runs so deep. But getting people on camera to say this can prove incredibly difficult, because people have a lot to lose. When you speak out about the establishment and the deep state, it can become a problem. But I have whistleblowers that I am bringing to you. And if they don't close my channel down, who knows? Right, let's have a look. Yeah, it's awful. You're right. Polo mate, illegal, dinghy men, all from jails in, I'm not going to say the words because of YouTube. Yeah, I completely agree. And then when we're told, when we speak out about it, we're told, oh, you're far right. Look, this is a lot of YouTubers won't have me on their channel because I am politically active. It's like, well, I'm politically active because I've got 2 daughters and I've interviewed a lot of survivors and victims, and what's going on, we are being bullied. And I think, children's lives are at risk. So I'm non-negotiable on that. Oh, here we go. Sussex Seagull, Starmer planning to flood the Lords with 40 Labour peers equals goodbye YouTube. If I had, I'm going to make sure I always have a platform, but I know why people go on Substack. I get it. My platform is YouTube, and I hope it can stay like that because I love that. I love it that it's available for everyone. And I looked into, can I do memberships that don't cost any money, but we could all just, hang out, and put streams in, but you have to charge people, and I'm not doing that. I have to tell you this though, insiders, I did get contacted by, it was like a vitamin supplement, and like, oh, could you do an advert on your channel? And I thought, you haven't seen my channel, have you? I live off a diet of coffee, vapes, and toast. I have not taken a vitamin in. I tell you what, if you ever see me doing a vitamin advert, I want you to unsubscribe from my channel, because it would not be me. I go into Holland and Barrett and pretend I'm healthy, and we'll buy all these supplements, and then I get them home, and I tell you what will happen. They all sit on the shelf, and by the time I remember I should take them, they've all gone out of date. I used to go through the process of getting those gummy ones, the gummy vitamins, but then I just ate them all, and I was like, okay, these aren't sweet, so I don't think you can have 10 of them. Okay. You need to find a way to have whistleblowers on your show where they can be in the shadow silhouette. Yes, but whistleblowers sometimes have to sign certain things, and it's about, for me, it's always protecting them before they share their story. So yes, I agree, but it's just a fine balance, because I don't look at them of thinking like, oh, what story can I get? I think like, is it safe for you to do? And so with whistleblowers, there's an amazing whistleblower who escaped from a beep gang, and it's just not safe for her. Like, she would talk, but I also, unless they've got the right things in place to make sure they're safe, I just have to, make sure they're okay. Julie Cole, oh, you're an early insider. I only watch Lauren, Dan Whitten, and 2CTV and Mike Graham now. You have excellent, excellent taste. I'm doing Dan Whitten next week, actually. Let's have a look. Any other questions, hit me up. Okay, let's do this. I've star one. Lauren, from a PR perspective, should the palace comment on Mr. Markle's illness? No. I just think the palace have lost control. What the palace should do is fire everyone, or 85%, and that's me being generous, of people that work there. And they need to really realize that they are so incredibly out of touch with the people, because they spend their time doing the wrong things. They're just curating propaganda with the Royal Rota, and it just is absolutely crazy. Nora, oh, thank you, Nora. Our Illinois state governor in the USA has instituted digital IDs for ID only, and is proposing no social media for 16s and under as Australia. I'm saying no to digital ID, and also I don't know how this digital ID is going to work. I never remember to charge my phone fully. I don't know where my driving license is. At this point, are they going to just want to put a chip in us or something? I'm not even joking. I went to get my driving license out of my bag, and I pulled out Father Christmas's driving license, and I'd forgotten I'd ordered one on Temu to just drop on the floor, on Christmas Day. And I was like, only I would go out the house with not my driving license, but Father Christmas's. It's like, oh, can't drive my Fiat, but I can drive a sleigh with 8 reindeers. That's fine. Right. The Maltese Penny says, King protecting Andrew and Harold and trying to screw over William and Catherine. I believe that the palace and King Charles, I don't believe they've protected Catherine and William. I really don't. I believe that they have focused on the wrong things. And don't forget, the palace have a lot of power. The palace press office that were able to stop the ABC story of Andrew and Epstein, the palace have stopped a lot of stories, because the mainstream media, they're little puppets, and they just go, right, yank that one back in, that one's being naughty. Let's have a look. I'm just going through. There's a lot in the chat. I come on here and I think, I said to my husband, I said, it's just so weird. I've spent my whole life feeling like an outsider, and now people come to my channel to listen to me. It's like when you've worked in PR, you fade into the background purposefully. You're in the shadows, and never set out to be a YouTuber. And now I'm like, you know, "Ooh, I've got lots of followers." Like, well, I don't know, like, are they gonna be all right if I go on and just talk? Like, I don't really know how this thing works. I mean, hopefully you are. I'm not gonna be very good at presenting, like, slides and things like that. Let's have a look. You're joking, Polo mate. BBC spent 24 million on taxis. This is crazy. You know the crazy thing as well about the BBC? We were all bullied to pay our TV license, right? And it's really now a lot of people have cottoned on like, no, I'm out, I'm out. And I want a refund for that, because I want to know, I actually want a breakdown. When you go to the dentist or something and you've paid and they give you that invoice breakdown of what you've paid for. I want a breakdown of where's my TV license money gone, because I don't want to be funding, that predator network, because that's what it is. Oh, interesting. Someone said, will William end the Raw Rota? I don't think William will end the Raw Rota. I think he will change it, because he doesn't work with the mainstream media in a way that they like. And that's why I love him. He does things on his terms. We've seen he has pulled them up and really put them under the microscope. And it's never for money, it's just to pull them into line. William, I believe, will keep a relationship going to some degree with the mainstream media, but it's going to be completely different from how things are working now. I think we will see, and they've given us a lot of clues, Catherine and William. I think Catherine and William will very much be much more interested in connecting with the people and doing the work on the ground. I think they will bypass the mainstream media and very much say, we will work with you, of course, but these are our terms. And I think this is why the mainstream media are potentially keen and pushing the Harry and Meghan, coming back and all of that line, which I don't think they will, because Harry and Meghan make the mainstream media money, and the mainstream media is a for-profit business, so they don't care. All they care about is money, the mainstream media. They hacked Millie Dowler's phone. That tells us all we need to know. Teacup, Camilla is playing the game brilliantly. She leaks to the press as bad as Fergie. I know. I mean, and it's not really working, Camilla, is it? Because people aren't really that interested. But yeah, give me any more questions before I go. And how is everyone feeling for Christmas, by the way? I am trying to get into the mood of it. I wrote our family calendar out in green and red on a piece of paper on the fridge today, and booked some light trail for us to do at a local farm before Christmas. So that will be nice. Let's have a look. Is it Camilla who is behind the hate campaign towards Catherine and William? I think she is not nice. I think she is jealous. Right. This is complex. Not every bad story we see is from the palace, but the palace have the ability to whip the mainstream media into shape. And so you have to ask yourself the question, why under King Charles and Queen Camilla have the mainstream media not been pulled into shape when it comes to William and Catherine? Why are they still allowing the press to call her Kate Middleton? Why were, there were awful rumors circulating regarding Catherine and William, and the mainstream media push, in my opinion, they push all of this because they know they can get away with it. And so that's the question that needs to be asked. And again, you see you see Catherine and William, I don't believe they're let out of the palace to do public functions as frequently as they would want to. They get a lot of backlash, but it's actually, they have to fall in line under the king and the queen consort. So really, I think the palace let them out occasionally because they know that whatever they do, it far overshadows, the reception that King Charles gets, where he does, performative things like this. Turns up at, oh no, not that one. Sorry, hang on. There we go. Turns up. I mean, look, I know he's not well, but he doesn't really look happy to be there, does he? Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, Jenny, I'm wondering if Prince William is avoiding Christmas because of his father's conversion to Islam. Well, we don't know for a fact he converted. I know there have long been rumours. When I spoke to Bishop Kai said he doesn't believe that, but he does believe that King Charles's belief system is compromised. I will ask Bishop Kai on that again, because I think it is important that we have clarification on that. But insiders, there is 1,140. Whoa. And also imagine, so that's 1,140 boxes and people that could turn up to Royal Lodge. And we could really, I mean, to be honest, Andrew could be out by Monday easily. I've got a fear I can get quite a lot in my boot. I'm sure some of you, can fill your boots up and we can get that grifter off royal land, because he's disgusting, in my opinion. Right. Let's have a look. Right. Last one. Can you imagine when we have a monarch who is not envious of his heir and does not try to use PR against him? What a breath of fresh air the reign of King William V will be. Yes, it will be. But, I want William to remove Freemasonry, and I want to see more transparency with royal funds. And I hope that will happen. I know Andrew Loney said he doesn't think it would happen, but I do think it will happen, because I believe that the monarchy is Tom Sykes said as well to me today, he said it's very fragile at the moment. And so, yes, it is fragile, but I feel like with more transparency, and actually if we, the people, are listened to, then they could, of course, get through it. And also, let's end on this comment. This is brilliant. You'd need a semi-truck for Andrew's teddy bears. Yes, Andrew's teddy bears. And you know what? When I was on a rant about Andrew to someone, and they were like, he's not been proven this, that. It's like, hang on, you're talking about the same courts that we can't trust, and you're talking about the same police where there's deep corruption within them. So, just because someone hasn't been found guilty in a court of law, I don't think that rules anything out. But on that note, insiders, thank you so much for joining. And my mum has been on this stream. Hi, Mum. And I am going to be bringing you lots of content from here on in, from now until Christmas and right through January, because January's rubbish. And for anyone that is struggling over Christmas, then I will be putting a Christmas show out. And if you are not looking forward to Christmas, remember it's one day. And if you don't want to celebrate it and it feels painful, then order yourself some nice food in anticipation and watch some films that aren't Christmassy. And if you love Christmas, enjoy the day. We will be facing our first Christmas without my stepdad. And I'll be honest, I've bought a lot of toys for my kids, which is acting as a distraction. It doesn't bring people who aren't here back. It doesn't fill that void. If I'm being honest, I just want to avoid my two kids who are 2 and 4 arguing. So I was like, right, I'm going to the toy shop and I'm buying some Bluey stuff. But it is a challenging time of year for a lot of people, which I absolutely understand. And so if you are having a wonderful December, I love that for you. And if you're not having a wonderful December, just know that you're not on your own. This is a month where my godfather died on Christmas Day as well. So I understand very much how people who are feeling the highs and lows of December feel. And my DMs are always open, and I am always going to be coming on here and bringing you a reason to smile. And remember, it could be worse. At least we're not, Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, and there are a lot of, least you're not Harry and Meghan. There you go. So if you're having a bad day, remember, you are not Harry and you are not Meghan. So insiders, thank you so much for joining me. I still get so surprised when people turn up. I'm sat here with my little think it's Tesco furry top, which I'm really into, but I feel like let's keep this real. So before I end this stream, I'm going to show you my room. I want to show you what ADHD for me is like. So it's either so neat or before I cut it off, you're not going to see a lot. Oh, there's a mess. There's the mess. There we go. So that's real life, right? Insiders, thank you. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and you will see me before Christmas much more.